Hey, caregiver family. Welcome back to another episode of the My Favorite Girl Caregivers Corner podcast. I am so grateful again that you've chosen to listen to another episode of the podcast. If you've listened before, I'm going to tell you, like I always do, welcome back and thank you for listening. And if you're new to the podcast, and I want to welcome you as well, welcome you to another care empowering, inspiring, and strengthening episode. Hey, listen, if you haven't done so already, take a moment right now and subscribe to the podcast from whichever platform you are listening on. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and of course, you can catch it on the website at www.priscillajjohnlouis.com. Once you subscribe, then go ahead and share it with your family and friends, especially those that you know who are serving as caregivers. And I also would like to invite you to go ahead and follow me via social media. You can do that on Facebook at My Favorite Girl and Alzheimer's. You can do it as well on Instagram at the same thing, My Favorite Girl and Alzheimer's. And then you'll also find me on TikTok. That's right, we TikTok into, and y'all know they took TikTok down for about 24 hours, and we won't even get into any of that, but it's back up. And so we are on TikTok at My Favorite Girl and Alls. And so you can go on either one of those platforms. On those platforms, you will find video. We have video footage. I've started doing what I call my conversations with my favorite girl. And so you'll find some video on there of us just chatting it out as best you can, as well as different educational information, just some posts that we share just to kind of inspire you to keep going as caregivers. And so go ahead, go to those platforms and subscribe. Go to the website. You can go through the website to get to those social media platforms. And so we want you to do that. And yeah, connect with us any way you can. And so we're excited for episode 3. We're in season 5. And so today I am excited to have some guests on with me today. And I'm going to push a pause and allow them to introduce themselves. But today I'm going to have a conversation with the owners of Wisdom Adult Daycare Services LLC. And we're going to be talking about respite care, a lifeline for caregivers. And so I have Latasha Davis on here, as well as her sister Melissa. And so I'm going to give them an opportunity. Latasha, if you would start us out and just give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Latasha Davis, and I'm happy to be here on this platform. I am the administrator director at Wisdom Adult Daycare, and we take care of seniors. We love our seniors. We provide respite care for seniors Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And we just love taking care of our seniors. We have therapeutic programs for them. We provide games and we play music and we do all sorts of things. We also do TikToks. We have a couple of TikToks out there through my sister Melissa. So yes, we're glad TikTok is back because my seniors love TikTok. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to learn and give information.
Thank you so much for being here. Melissa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hi, my name is Melissa Ward. Um, I'm an LPN. I'm the hype person of the daycare, so I keep them hype. I'm also the nurse. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, I am so glad to have both of you on, and I'm excited about this topic, respite care, a lifeline for caregivers. And so we want to jump right on into this conversation. And one of the things that I love about it is you all seem like you're very excited about taking care of seniors. And that's not something that I can be honest in saying it's not something that I'm used to seeing. There's not a whole lot of people that get excited about taking care of our elderly. So whenever I, run into someone, have a conversation with someone who they take that time and they're caring for, as I like to say, those who once cared for us, There's a quote
Exactly.
that's on my website that says, "To care for those who once cared for us is my highest honor." And it really is. And so I'm going to start out first by saying thank you all for the work that you're doing. And so I want to know, let's share with our audience, what inspired you all to found an adult daycare center?
Okay, well, first of all, let me talk about when you said that um, you see that we are excited about it. And yes, we are. We have good days and we have bad days like everybody else, but we are excited. We're excited when they come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's the first thing. Good morning. They come dragging. Sometimes some of them come excited. So that's the way that we keep our day going, is to make sure that they're excited and they're happy to come. A lot of times it's like 5 o'clock and they're not even ready to go home. And we're like,
Oh,
oh, I'm
wow.
tired. But they're here because like you said, we be excited about it. So thank you. I'm glad somebody noticed it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when I'm around them, my mom is 82. My uncle, he just had a birthday last week, and he turned 84, 85. My grandmother, believe it or not, I was caring for my grandmother and my mother. And my grandmother, when I started caring for her, she was 94. And so, and I'd always been around my mom and my grandmother, and so I've always had a special liking, taking to
Yeah,
older people, because I just love the wisdom and knowledge that older people give. But one thing my mom used to always say, and I have always held on to it, is that you're going to get old one day. And so we have to be careful and mindful of how we're treating our elders. And it doesn't just have to be those that we're related to.
exactly. And they're
We have to be
wise.
mindful how we treat people, but especially our older people, because sometimes they end up being the forgotten ones. And so,
Exactly.
you know,
And they are the
definitely,
forgotten ones. We
yeah,
we do a lot of stuff for kids. If you look, there's always different programs for kids. But when it comes to seniors, then that's something totally different, and they are forgotten. They
yeah,
are forgotten, and especially the seniors that have some type of limitation or disability. They are really put to the side, because then it's just an inconvenience for everyone. But like everybody, you have to get old one day, and who knows what that's going to look like,
that's
whether
right.
you're going to be the independent senior until the day you leave here, or you may have to depend on someone. So yeah, we definitely have to be more vigilant and put more information about taking care of seniors, especially the ones that are limited and have different types of disability.
Yep. And so, is that what led you all to founding your adult daycare?
Well, see, that's a funny story. Um, my sister Melissa, she's a LPN, and she worked at a nursing home over in Tallahassee, and she would always talk about it because she worked with a lot of seniors, and she always would say, "Hey, we need to start an adult daycare." Nobody was really doing it. I think Elder Care had theirs, but that was
Hmm.
pretty much it. And I was in Orlando, so I was like, "A daycare, okay." And I kind of, but she stayed on it, and I have my bachelor's degree in health administration. So Melissa kind of got me onto it, and I started researching, and I was like, and down south, there's a lot of them in Central Florida, and you go on down, there are tons of adult daycare for seniors. But up in this area,
It
nothing.
was
It's like
two.
creek. Oh, it
It was
was two
two.
here.
So yes, PMH,
Okay,
and our grandma was going to one. So
Okay.
our grandmother,
and that's another thing. Go ahead, Melissa.
oh no, I was just, our grandmother, and I just seen how it was a relief for my aunt. And then I talk to them every day. I sit and talk to seniors every day because I went to work every day and I used to work double. So I had 16 hours, 16 to 18 hours of sitting talking with seniors and just the different things, the different stages of Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, just seeing it all and just seeing that some people that's, they're there, but when they get ready to go home, their family got to work. They were looking for somewhere to go. They were looking for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
They was coming to do therapy maybe every for so long, and then after that you're home. They was having a lot of fall risks. I mean, family members needed to go to work, and they was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And most of the time they just had caregivers coming into the home, and then some people like, well, I don't want them in my home, and so it was a lot. And I was just like, okay, well, daycare sounds like a solution to all of that. When they go home, if they're not staying, if I don't want my mom or dad or grandma or aunt, staying in a nursing home. Okay, well,
Right.
we got a solution. They can come to us.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
our
to
grandma
go
was
to
in
work,
Havana, so
and they had to
Yeah.
travel
she
every
had
day
to
to get there.
travel all the way to Leon County because there was
But it
no
was
Wow.
a big
daycare.
relief for them. It was a big relief, and we seen that it was a relief. We understand that it was a relief because I mean, grandma was a handful.
And that's exactly it, right? You see the need,
Yeah.
and that's always amazing to me how God does that, because he'll put you in that place where you see the need and it's like, hey, do it. And
Yeah.
I can tell you firsthand that I'm sure that it is a huge relief. And I'm one of those people, right, who I'm very particular about who comes in and out of my house,
Mhm.
because my mom lives with me.
Mhm.
But this is what I have to lay my head down at night. And so I'm extremely particular about who comes in and out of my house, even though, I mean, I have things in place. I have cameras and I
Mhm.
have, locks on my doors, but still, I'm particular. And, the ones that I have coming, I trust them. I trust them wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
But that is a thing. But it is very much needed because, you know, like you said, family members have to go to work. Unfortunately, there are not many caregivers that are getting paid to do. There's so many millions of dollars that are going unpaid because as family members, it's just what we do. And there's not enough funding. And it's just like a lot of other things. They don't want to fund, especially if it's family members. They don't want to fund you
Exactly.
caring for your loved ones. And so we're now in a situation where grocery are high, everything is expensive. And so, I'm sure that in this area that became, a big deal, and a lot of people, I'm sure, are taking advantage of it. And you all have been doing this for quite a while, and with what you're doing, I'm hoping and praying that it expands even further, that y'all end up with multiple facilities because it is needed. And so I want to ask you as well, for those who may not be familiar with adult daycares, I know you mentioned a little bit of it in your intro, Latasha, but can you tell us more about the services that you all provide and how they benefit the seniors and their families? I know you mentioned quite a few, but just a little bit more detail therein, because you all are located in Havana, not all the
In
way in
Gaston County.
Havana, just
Right.
about midway,
Right. Right.
about midway
Right. We're on the
between,
outskirts.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
it's not a long distance for people to have to drive, but even if it were, it sounds to me like the services are worth you having to make that trip. So, what are some of the other things that you all provide? I know we missed it because I kind of missed the email, but I did see in December y'all did a whole big event for your seniors.
Right.
So, tell us about a
Right.
little bit
Right.
of those things, how you get the seniors hyped and all of that.
Well, the first thing we provide is
Okay.
patience.
Well, I think we're
Patience is first. That is because a lot of people don't have it, and we do. We listening. You got to listen to your seniors. I mean, sometimes you maybe go off the wall, but listen. You never know what you catch into
and
it.
we know all our seniors. We when they come in this door, we learn our seniors. We listen. We know them. We know when something is off. We know when it's something. It may not be with them. It could be at home, and we know
Hmm.
that because we pay attention. We listen, and we have, like she said, the patience.
So
And it
that comes
takes
with the
that.
games. That comes with the different services. So the games, the music, the even from the The meals that we
Exercising.
feed, exercising, you got everything. So we do all of that yoga, chair
Oh wow.
yoga. We exercise, we watch movies, we do everything that you would do to keep someone active all day.
Okay. So it's not elementary like a
No,
child daycare, but in the same sense, you provide some of the same type
arts
because
and
they
crafts.
exercise. Okay. And so now with that as well, are you providing meals when they come?
Yes, breakfast, lunch, and a snack, and all
Okay.
hot meals.
Okay. All hot meals?
Um, except the
Okay.
snack, but all
Okay.
hot meals.
Right.
Breakfast,
Exactly. Okay. So
yes,
they can come, but it's something
they're
that keeps
spoiled
them stimulated and it's something that they look forward to.
every day,
Um,
They
yeah.
do.
Okay.
every day.
And
Yes.
so
We were close for our snow day, and let me tell you, we got a lot of because I was trying to get them prepared Monday, saying, "Hey,"
okay.
because I was watching the news. It looks like we may be out, and they was not trying to hear that because they love coming. So,
Okay.
and we get that, and that makes us excited too. That they love coming to us just as much as we like having them. And like she said, with patients, every day is not a good day for them. Every day, I mean,
Hmm.
we have seniors with a lot of disabilities. They have a lot of aches and some pains, or maybe it's the medication not doing well for them that day. But then that's where the patients come in, and then we have recliners here. So if,
Okay.
for instance, they just having a bad day and they just need to relax. So then they get to lay in the recliner, and everybody pretty much have their own recliner. So they get in their recliner and they'll relax and watch TV. And of course, my sister's there to monitor him. And sometimes, it may be a phone call. Hey, mom or dad may need to go to the ER, or call their physician. So that's the great part too about having an LPN on staff, because a lot of things I wouldn't know, but she knows it.
That's very important, especially because from my understanding and just in conversation with you all prior to, you have patients who have dementia, you have patients who have other different types of disabilities. And so, um, as a caregiver of my mom who is in a later stage of dementia, you definitely, that patience is important. Like today, for instance, it's snow day, and I'm trying to work and care, but today it was a wash because she just wanted to walk all day long, just walk all day long. And and then
And
sometimes there
see,
are those things that they do, and that's what I tell people. I'm grateful because I'm a big believer, and if I can't do anything about it, I'm not gonna. It's not going to frustrate me. She can't help her
exactly.
behavior. She can't help. I don't know, Melissa, if you've seen this a lot. I've been asking and I've done research and finding out that it is a part of it, but she's going through this terrible spitting stage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's terrible. When I say terrible, it's terrible. I'm having to change sheets and comforters and stuff like every other day. Um, and I didn't realize that that was a part of it. And she's been doing this now for some months, right? For
Mm-hmm.
most people, or a lot of people, that would probably frustrate them to no end
Mm-hmm.
because I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about spitting. And so she has an assigned seat. she
Mm-hmm.
has she has her own recliner that
Mm-hmm.
she sits in, that I wipe down and I Lysol. But this is her seat because it's like, yeah, you can't spit all over the furniture. And I'm thankful that, my floors, I don't have carpet, and
Mm-hmm.
so, it's a matter of wiping it and cleaning it up. I can only imagine what that's like. But saying all that to say, there is a level of patience, and that's good to know and to hear because even when you're at these different facilities sometimes, and I'm sure you all have seen it, on the news. I mean, I've read stories on the news where you have these workers that are there, these CNAs and the staff who because they don't understand some of the behaviors,
Yeah.
they end up fighting them, and they end up, and that's one of the reasons I tell people religiously, that is one of the major reasons why my mom is home with me, because it's two places I don't want to go. I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want to go to hell. And
Mhm.
when I look at stories like that, I feel like my chances get heightened. And so I keep her home because I don't have to worry about all of that.
Mhm.
But that is very important to have. And so with that, I mean, I do think it's a great need. And so also, when it comes down to your adult daycare, and I know, with only two being in this area, I'm sure that that definitely sets you apart. But when you consider your services, I love the name of it, Wisdom Adult Daycare, because when you look at these elders, that's exactly what you're getting. You're getting that. That's why
Yes.
I like to sit down and talk with them, because especially too in those earliest days, my grandmother passed away. It will be 3 years on the 29th. And my grandmother was with me for about 4.5 years, almost, well, a little less than five actually. And one of the things that I absolutely loved, I mean, we would sit down, and I have video all on Facebook and YouTube, but we would sit down and we would sing, because she was a church mother. And we would just sit down and I would just start singing, and we would just sit there and sing. But then there are times when she would just talk, and she would just tell you, different. And I enjoyed, I miss those times. I really, really miss just sitting there and just having her to talk. And that's what you get a lot of times, the history that comes along with their age. And
I
just
knew
listen to
every
older people, you'll become even wiser.
I I sat on the floor by their knees and on their legs and laying beside them many days on the floor. They would get in the recliner and I would just sit and lay my head and we would talk. I mean, I knew the family, I knew the kids, I knew the grandkids. Whether every time I talk to myself, I know everything. There is
Because
no
they're going to
need.
tell you, they are going
They're
to
going
tell
And
to.
it,
you.
it takes a village.
Yeah,
Right.
it
It
takes
takes a village. It takes
And
a
what they
village.
want a lot of
It takes
times
a
is
village.
just somebody to care. I can't
care.
tell you how many times I go into these facilities, and it breaks my heart sometimes because my mind is always going as well. I'm always thinking. And sometimes I've even thought about it like, man, how can we set up like a one of those big sister, big brother type deals for those in the nursing homes, because they a lot of them have nobody.
Hmm.
And so even when I'm going just to do my job in a little, couple, 15, 20-minute interview, they're so excited just to have somebody that took the time to talk to them. I've had, they want to hug you, and I'm not one. I'm like, yeah, give me a hug. I'm not one of those people like,
Yeah.
no. I walked into one facility and the girl almost knocked me over, because she just grabbed me. But for me, I'm like, sometimes we're the only people that they interact with. And, you know, I think that it's important that we take that time to just show them, like, hey, even though you're older, you're still loved. You're still cared about. And, that's what I hear from what you're both saying. So, what is it that sets you apart, from anybody else that's doing what you're doing? What do you feel like sets you apart from others?
I can say because we become
I think
family.
that the fact that, and I
No,
was
you
just
can.
about to say that, we realize that it takes a village. It takes
Hmm.
a village. Like she said, we just don't know one child. We get to know all the kids. We get to know whoever is pretty much with that loved one. So
We're
we
on
don't
call
just,
24
you don't
hours.
just
I
drop them off and leave them. Yeah. We
They
are.
can
We
they
stay
call
involved.
me
We want to be involved.
every day, every after
And then they
hours.
know that by that we love them.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, we get after hour calls, and we are an adult daycare from Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. But that's just the hours that we put on there. Of course, our hours extend, like she said, 24 hours. It's not a problem to get a phone
Family,
call. We
anything.
want to
They can go
know,
to the hospital.
and we
If
realize
they're
too
not
that
here,
yeah, we
Yeah.
realize
we are.
caregivers are getting younger. Caregivers are
Yeah.
getting younger because
Oh yeah.
a lot of seniors are getting diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's. A lot of people are having strokes at young ages. So the caregivers are still most of in their careers. They still have
Right.
little kids or kids in high
Mhm.
school or so with that happening, it's a lot for them. And we
Yeah.
realize that. We realize that because they have a lot on their plate. We have a lot of younger seniors coming in now. Way, like I said, in my era, when you say a senior, you're thinking of an old person coming because that's
70,
not the
80.
case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
70,
That's not the
70,
case.
75,
That's
80,
not the case.
85.
So what we
Yeah,
have now is
that's not the case.
what we call the sandwich generation, where you have the parents who are caring for their parents, and then they also have children that they're also caring for. And so
Mhm.
it's been coined that's the sandwich generation.
Mhm.
And you're absolutely correct. What we're seeing is an increase in the numbers of early onset dementia. Have no
Mhm.
idea why,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of cases now of early onset. And when you talk about early onset, you're talking about people that are 60 and younger. And so
Mhm.
you have a lot of people who are
Yes,
50, some in their 40s, early 50s, who
exactly.
now, before,
Exactly.
you had a few cases like that, but now it's becoming, more and more common. And so you're absolutely right. And the thing
Yeah,
about it
and at
is,
that time,
They're
yeah, go
still
ahead.
working. They're
Yeah,
still working.
you're
They're
working.
still.
You're trying.
yeah, they're still working.
I just turned 50. So I've been, almost 10 years. So I was right past 40 when I started
Mhm.
caring for my mom. And
Mhm.
so I have my mom. I also have two daughters.
Mhm.
When I first started, my oldest, she was still here, but she was in college. Whereas my youngest daughter, she was 10, when we first started. And so it's been a blessing for me from the standpoint that, especially my younger one being in the house, and she's been almost like my right hand. Not almost, she has been my right hand, and
Yes.
she's been one who never complained, not one time, about having to do anything. To this day, has not complained, has never. And so, even as I've been working to bring about greater awareness, she too has jumped on. And so, through her organization, she started the Youth Care 2 movement, because we don't look at the fact that there are also youth who know they're not the primary caregiver, but if they're in the house with the primary caregiver, a lot of times they too become caregivers. And
Mhm.
so we put a focus on them,
Yes.
because no, they're not primary, but if mama's taking care of grandma, and now, with it being that younger generation, we all become caregivers. And so, not only are you looking at caregiver stress for the adult, you're also having to consider the caregiver stress that comes for those children who, as I often say, if we as adults don't really understand what it looks like or how it feels, or some of this stuff knocks us off balance, how much more the children who don't understand that? Well, just last month, grandma or granddaddy knew who I was. Why is it that this month they can't recall my name? They don't understand that. And
Mhm.
so
Exactly.
you know, it is. It's a lot of they're younger, and so to have that love, to have that support, I think is very, very important for everybody involved. And I can feel, like I said, Justin, this is my first time. Latasha, I did meet you last week, but didn't know that you were who you are. But this is my first time talking in depth with you
Exactly.
all. And what I can tell is what you're doing is heart, right? You can tell the difference between somebody who is in it for the fact that I have a passion and a love for these seniors than somebody who's in it for the money, right? You can
Yeah,
tell the difference.
yeah,
Do you make money doing
You
it?
can.
Yeah, but that's not the primary focus. The focus, I can definitely, Melissa, when you're saying I lay down with them, I sit there, I'm like, that's hard, right? That's somebody who cares, who says, I'm not just coming to do my job. Because unfortunately, especially in this particular field, right? When you're talking about nursing homes, when you're working at nursing homes, assisted living facilities sometimes, but definitely nursing homes, the quality of care these
shows.
days is not like it was back in the day. You have these, a lot of these CNAs, and I hate to say it, but a lot of them are younger and they get in it. And a lot of the nurses too, they get in it because they see dollar signs.
Mm-hmm,
And it's like, this is just another dollar for me. And the heart and the
mm-hmm,
compassion and the
mm-hmm,
patience that
mm-hmm.
it takes to just, because when I was growing up, people, they went into the nursing field because they genuinely care about helping people. I want to help them get well. I want to help them, get back to living life. Now it's like, yeah, I'm coming in for my paycheck. I don't have time for that. People are laying there for hours at a time, not no attention. And so, those you can tell. But what I am genuinely feeling is that no, this is hard. This is, we saw the need and we
Yeah,
want to be able to help.
And they get
And
to socialize with each other.
yeah,
yeah, they
not
become
just sitting
best
at
friends.
They
home.
get to meet friends just like, yeah, they become friends with each other. They exchange phone numbers. Their family
Yeah,
becomes friends with one another. So
That helps with us having a
that's a
good
big
support
thing
group.
too.
yeah, yeah,
They
That gives good support. Sometimes they need to hear from the other side of,
yeah.
from somebody else outside of just listening to us. Listen to other caregivers talk to each other and they see what's different going on and they learn from each other.
yeah,
They do a lot of, I tell them my seniors got all the wisdom. I sit there and I learn from them. I
yeah.
mean, I was learning that even when you get a man that he should come home with his check and put it on the bed and
All right
teach
now.
you how. Yes, he give you some, he gonna put some towards the bill. Give you some, he gonna take some, and they gonna put the rest up. But let him bring it home and put it on the bed. Is what.
Uh-oh, you muted.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Let him come bring it home and put it on the
You
bed. Is
muted
what.
yourself.
That's what they said. They
But
they said
my
your number.
96-year-old told me laying beside her on the floor is that's what needed to be done. She said she was married 2 times. On the first time, it wasn't like that. He came home and gave her what he thought that she needed. She said, but her second husband put it on the bed.
All right now.
So
But
she
I,
told
I
me
don't
get
know
you
how
one
many
that's
of
gonna
these
put it on
younger
the
men
bed.
gonna do that, but that is what they did back
Hey,
in the day.
hey, so I tell you, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. You learn from how to save money, how to,
Yeah.
you just gotta sit there and listen. You
And
never
you
know what
learn
you're gonna
survival
learn.
because a lot of them they survive. And
How
and,
to
and
cook.
in 2025, I'm not going there at all. But we need to know survival,
They
right?
teach you how to cook. They can
Yeah.
remember things that some things you have to ask. If they was best at baking cakes, they can tell you how to bake a cake from scratch. If they was best at cooking greens, they can show you how to tell you how to cook the greens. Like them the kind of things that we go over. And the old music, they like to dance, they like to
Okay.
sing.
Oh,
So we gonna dance, sing. I'm the hype person, so I'm gonna
Big
get it
stuff.
started. Yes. So whatever to make their day a better day. Just
and the
every
fact
day
that
is
she
not
has
promised. So
a vegetable the fact that she has a vegetable stand or fruit stand, even like when it's peas time, she would bring the big bag of peas and we would give all them buckets and they sit there and talk and shell peas. We know
Okay.
that seniors like still doing stuff and being involved. And so we'll put them in a Ziploc bag and they get to take those home that they shell. We
Okay.
we have a big property, so we have a pecan tree. The ones that could, we go over and pick pecans. So we still do things that they know how to do and like doing.
was raised
Collard
doing.
greens. They
Yes.
yeah, things that they are familiar with. So she bring the collard greens in. They love to sit there and pick those greens apart. Of course, we don't let them cut them up, but we let them
Right.
pull them apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And then
know,
I
so
cut them
it's
and let
It,
them
things
it
take
like
them
keeps
that
them
home.
that we
stimulated.
bring
Hmm.
in that we know we can. And then we had FAMU to come and they built us some raised beds in the back. So
Okay.
they had squash in there, they had
Mint.
broccoli. So our senior guys and some of our ladies could go out and water them. So they get to see them grow. And once they were ready, they picked them and took them home. They like to still put their hands in dirt and still be involved. So we try to think of things that everyday life that they can still to keep them motivated and to keep them, into
Keep them
everything that
active.
everyone else
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
doing. Just because you have
Majority
a
of them was raised on hard
yeah,
work.
keep them
They,
active.
they, they believe in working hard and continuing to work, and they don't believe in laying in the bed all day. They believe in
Now
getting your
that's
coffee
a new
first thing
school
in the
thing.
morning. Yeah, they believe in getting your coffee first thing in the morning, and let's get to work. Let's get to doing something. I mean, they get to the point
So
where
that's
everybody
why
needs
we
some
have
rest.
those things for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we got the recliner so they can rest whenever they need to. They're not pushed to do nothing they don't want to do, but they're always encouraged to do something.
Okay. So let me
You
ask
know.
this question because um, I know that as dementia progresses, and they get into the later stages, is there a point where you cut off for, say, dementia patients? Is there a certain stage or certain things that they have to still be able to do for you to take them at the daycare, or are you open to anybody that just needs that time for respite?
Well, we do have a cutoff because there is a point where we are not able to take care at a certain stage of Alzheimer's. Most time with dementia, only thing that we don't, if they just have dementia, if they're combative, we
Okay.
don't do combative. But and Alzheimer's, when they start getting back to those real stages, like stage 3 or 4, when they start turning to those baby stages where they actually have to be changed, and um, we will do some feeding. But if they get to a point where they need to be changed, where we have to actually physically change them, like right now we're at the stages where we can go in and help. If
Okay.
they need to be changed, we can help change. If they, we try to get them at the stages now where they're able to do everything mostly on their own.
We
And if they
Okay.
assist
need
in
help,
the
we are going to
bathroom.
always be there to
Right.
assist. But once they start getting to the part where we can't assist, where it's actual total care, then we start talking to the family about, hey, they're getting point to, and then, we encourage them to, if you can't do it, we do give them options of nursing home, assisted livings. I mean, most time that's more of assisted living stages. I mean, nursing
Hmm.
home
Home
stages,
health.
but our home
Skilled
health.
nursing.
If they
Yeah.
can bring them
Okay.
home, I mean, if you can have them home, then home health. And just knowing that they got to be turned every 2 hours, changed every checked and changed every 2 hours, all of those things that we don't be able to provide for them
Right,
because,
right. I'm not saying in the bed. I just want to know because if anybody wants to know, like, oh, okay, I need a place, but
mhm.
You
As
want
long as
them to
they're,
be able to be active.
as long as they just need like a
A
one
lot of
person
people are
assist for
concerned about the
anything.
wandering,
Right.
and we have things in place for that also. We have a
Hmm.
big room, and we have our doors have locks on them, so you have to know the code to get out. And also, once you open the door, we have bells that ring. And the crazy part
Okay.
is that our seniors know that as well. So if they hear that bell, they know, hey, somebody's coming in or somebody's going out.
Somebody's
They
going
don't say,
out.
hey, somebody's coming in, yeah, or somebody's going out.
You
So
know,
they even know that, okay, if that bell goes out, then somebody, and it's loud. So we have
Mm-hmm.
things in place to make sure that our patients or participants are, safe. It's a safe haven. We make sure
And
because
that's
they
important.
do
That is
yes.
wander.
very
You don't
important.
want them to wander off and be
Right.
off. So no. And that is very important. So we have all of those things in place for them as well. Because we keep them active, but they're clever. They'll you
Oh
turn your
yeah.
back and you don't know what happened.
Oh
But
yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
like I said, we have locks that you will have to use codes to get out. And again, the bells go off. So whenever a door opens, that bell goes off. So like I said, the seniors even know, hey, somebody's coming in, somebody's outside.
Okay. And they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all. These are not
And then
all
when they go to
dementia.
No.
Right. And so
no,
let's talk
no.
about that just briefly. So, when it comes down to those who can attend, you're not just talking about dementia patients. You all are open for everybody.
Yes, yes, they don't have to just have dementia. They can it be fall risk at home, like somebody that they can walk with a cane, maybe, or even if they don't walk with a cane, they may just be have Parkinson and doing the little
Shake a little bit.
the little walk that they do, and they start having Parkinson where they start dragging their feet, and they're more prone to falls. So I mean, that's what mostly that we normally like if they don't have dementia they have some maybe some kind of fall prevention or maybe they can't be home alone because they anything it's
Mm-hmm.
just anything. I mean, so
Okay.
they don't just have to have Alzheimer's or dementia. They don't have to really have nothing going on at all.
Just be older and
Just
want somewhere to
older
go.
and know somewhere to go, and maybe they can't
Yeah,
drive
maybe they
anymore
just need,
because
yeah, and
they're at the age where they're moving too slow on the road and the kids don't
or they
took their
can't cook. So
yeah, can't feed it, just things like that, or they're
Okay.
not
So that
doing.
so that
or
doesn't
they're
have to
at a
be
stage
anything at
that
all
they're no
wrong.
longer cooking or
Yeah.
taking their medication.
Okay. So if they're older and just want to be around somebody, because sometimes they just get lonely being home.
Mhm.
You don't want to sit home by yourself. So if they're at that age where they're like, you know what, I need somewhere to go, just to be somewhere for a few hours that I'm around people my age, people that I can talk with, then they too can come and take
Mhm.
part in your services,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, they can. A lot of them like to come and feel like they're working.
Yes.
So they come and help
Yes.
us. Like even with the ones that maybe need some help. Sometimes they'll fix them water because we do have an area where we have, we keep them hydrated, so we keep water. I mean, we keep them available for water. Or, even if they need it thickened, sometimes they come and say, hey, she's getting some water, but she don't have none of that, none of the stuff in it. Like
Okay.
anything. So sometimes they just like to come and help. And I
Okay.
mean, being that they don't like to be home alone, or we still social. Everything
Right.
about us is still around being social, being able to go somewhere and have somebody to talk to. Even if they're not talking to us, they got each other. And
So let me
I
ask
say
this
we
question.
preach family.
Do
We
you all
preach God and family
transport?
every day.
Do
No,
you,
ma'am.
okay, so no
We do,
transport.
but we do have transportation like available through different outsources.
Okay.
So we can outsource transportation. Like
Big
we
Ben
don't personally do it
services.
anymore, but we do have services. I mean, many other services that we recommend or that we talk to, that we let them know about that we
That
kind
you
of
can set up
got
for
a
them and
relationship.
get them to you and back home.
Yes.
Okay, that's
A
good
lot
to
of
know.
times the insurances will pay for
We'll pay for it.
private
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sounds good. So
transportation.
let me push a
And it's
pause
door to
here.
door. It's door to
You have a
door,
lot
so
of
they don't have to feel like,
yes, the
hey,
insurances will
they
pay
may
for it.
stop somewhere else. Oh, my grandma might get off the bus, or no. The way they're set up is door to door. They from their door to our door. May pick up somebody else in between, but it's more of a safe ride. They don't have to worry about them getting off nowhere they don't belong.
Okay, that sounds good. So I'm gonna push a pause here for those of you that are listening who are wondering how do I get in contact. So this is again Wisdom Adult Daycare Services. You can contact them. They do have a Facebook page that is the same Wisdom Adult Daycare Services. And you can also visit their website at www.wisdomdaycare.com. That's wisdomadultdaycare.com. So reach out to them. You can already tell these are some great services that are provided if you are in the Tallahassee, the Leon, Gaston, Jefferson County area. Please reach out to them. And again, we're talking about respite care, a lifeline for caregivers. And I don't want to take for granted that everybody knows what respite care is. So I'm going to touch on that for just a moment. Latasha, tell us real quick, what is respite? Because some people may be like, "Oh, what is that?" So what is the
Rest,
respite care?
listen, I like to say respite care is a medication without the side effects.
All
Because we
right.
know when you say take medication, they give you a list of side effects. But with respite care, it's relief for the caregivers. It gives you a chance to go and do errands, maybe go to work, and you know that mom, dad, uncle, or auntie is in a safe place. They're taking their medications, they're eating, they're socializing, and then you can pick them up or they have their transportation and go home. But it's just a safe haven for our seniors, and it allows our caregivers to
To
have a better
breathe.
life, because like I said, it's, yeah, to breathe, because like I said, the seniors are getting younger with the different disabilities. So that means that our caregivers are also younger. So they have full careers going. They have kids at home. So they need that relief. Life can be frustrating. So to add on another person is especially with disabilities, and you got to go to doctor's appointments. You got all these things that you got to work out with them. So we're here to help. We're here to help. And we know that respite care can mean not just adult daycare. Respite care can be home health. We have a lot of seniors that come here from 8 to 5, and then they have a home health company that comes in at 5:30 and get them to bed, bathe them, feed them, so that the caregiver, that's more support for them. So we're not just saying, oh, we know that this is not a t-shirt that fits one person. It comes in different sizes, different resources, different things for different people. So we do understand that. We're never on here saying, hey, adult daycare, adult daycare. No, this is not a one shirt fits all. You have to figure
Mhm.
out what fits your family, your loved one. But what we're saying is that we're here. We're here to help. And we love our seniors. I haven't had a senior to come in that didn't say, "Hey, I love you." And we get more hugs than that's why I feel loved. Can't nobody tell me, and I tell my sister that all the time. Can't nobody tell me that I ain't loved, because I got more love and more angels in heaven that I know look down from us, because we really love them. We really do.
Yeah, I
So
absolutely
respite
love it. And
care
so
is just it's a medication without side effect.
yeah. And as a caregiver, I could tell you it is much needed. And sometimes, I mean, because what I am purposing to do and learning more of is self care. Being able, sometimes respite is just you being able to take care of yourself. Because what I had to learn is for real, you cannot take care of them
If
if
you
you're
don't
not
take care of
well, if you're
yourself.
not getting the rest that you need, because caregiving does not stop. That's the thing. It regardless, because you got to realize too, not only are you dealing and having to take care of their life, you got life going on too. And when you have your own life going on and you're having to deal with taking care of somebody else, that's a lot. And so take the Lifeline. I'm as a caregiver, I'm saying to the other
Slide.
caregivers, this is a lifeline that is being put out there. If you need the help, contact them. And Latasha, if you would also give your phone number. I know there's a number to the facility if someone wants to contact you at the facility, but you all reach
Right.
out. And I know that some people, I'm sure that there's some who will listen to this podcast that lives in this area. Some of you may not live in our area. However, where you are in your specific or particular city, I'm sure that they probably do have adult daycare centers. It is an option. It is an option for you to be able
It
to
is.
take your loved one to an adult daycare center. If you don't know where to go, how to reach out to me. I promise you I can help you to find one, but we want you to be able to get that help that you need, get the extra help, as they stated, get that support that you need that can help you to continue. Because what you don't want is burnout. And it's easy as a caregiver, it is so
That's it.
easy
Burnout.
to burn out. And when you have burnt out, there's nothing you can really give. You're giving fumes to your loved one, and they deserve more than that. And so I want to also provide you with their number. It is 850 566 4682. Again, 850 566 4682. So reach out if you are in this area and need those services. As they also stated, there's different resources. They also have resources that they can provide to you. And I'm going to ask this. I know you've said a whole lot of it already, but I'm going to ask, just give me that one thing. You just said the hugs. Is there anything else? What else is the most rewarding part of your job for caring for these seniors? I don't know if it gets better than getting those hugs, but you can tell me.
Exactly. Exactly. Just making knowing that they are in a safe haven place, knowing that they're getting their meals, knowing that they're taking their medication on time, knowing all of these things, and knowing that I'm helping their family. And like I said, this is not a one size fit all T-shirt, and we have no problem with referring people out to different things or what works for you. But just, yes, call us. We'll tell you, hey, whether this is a good fit, maybe it's not. We give you options. We're not just telling you, hey, this is a one shirt fits all, like I've said before. We want to make sure that our seniors are taken care of, whether that is whatever that looks like. We just want to make sure we help our caregivers and that our seniors are taken care of.
Yep. And that alone is rewarding. And so I'm going to ask one last question before we get off. What advice would you give for families who are considering adult daycare for their loved one for the very first time? What would you advise them?
Give them a call, give whatever center it is that you're looking at a call and ask for a tour. You got to get out and meet them. You got to talk to them. Just like you wouldn't take your daughter or your son to a daycare that you're not, go look. If they don't have their doors open for you to come and do a tour, then that's a flag there. But we have our doors open. Come on in, come see what we are doing. We even let them talk to our participants if they like. So that's my advice. To you got to get on that phone and get out and on a Saturday. Sometimes you have to meet them on a Saturday. I have, or after work. Sometimes I've stayed after work. Maybe, oh, I'm working, I can't come on till 7. I'm here waiting. So you'll know. You'll know
Yeah.
the right connection once you talk to them. Yeah.
All right. And there it is. And so, and I concur with that 100%. You want to go and visit. You're not dropping
Yeah.
your loved one off somewhere that you can't be, because what good is it to drop them off somewhere and then you have to worry the entire time that you're supposed to be, this is respite care. This is a time for you to relax, for you to catch your breath and be able to, as Melissa said earlier, be able to breathe. And so if you're dropping them off somewhere where you have to be concerned about that, that's probably not the place that you want them to go. But I definitely
Exactly.
highly recommend Wisdom Adult Daycare Services. You can also go to my website at www.priscillajjohnlouis.com. That's www.priscillajlouis.com. You'll also be able to find their information on my website. If you go there and go to the resource spot, you'll be able to find their information there as well. And so, Melissa, Latasha, I want to thank you all for taking the time to come on and to share about your services with our audience. And I'm looking forward to just, working with you all in the future. I do want to ask this, and this was not a part of anything that we have discussed, but I'm a daughter of a senior and I had a grandmother, but want to know as well, in the things that you're doing, are there opportunities if people want to drop off some things that you may need? I know you're feeding them, you're playing games, you're doing all this type of stuff. Are there opportunities if people just want to say, you know what, you all are taking care of these seniors, how can we help? What can we give? What can we make sure you have? Is that something that you all are open to as well?
Yes, gloves. Um,
Yes.
we use briefs. We like when people drop off briefs because, I mean, sometimes we have people come in that just starting having situations going on. They say, hey, I don't know what we may need. And we sometimes give out briefs. The pads that go on their chairs or their beds, we take those. We also do walkers. I've gave out walkers. I gave out when people have not, that people may have passed and they say, hey, we got this stuff. We don't know what to do with it. And I've had people come in and say, hey, we need this. So we do walkers, wheelchairs. Um,
Wheelchairs,
yes, walkers, wheelchairs,
games, puzzles.
games,
Okay.
puzzles.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds good. And so, definitely, we'll get all that information. We'll try and get some of those things as well, and put that out there as well on the website. But we just want you all to have this option. This is another resource. That's the thing. I like to provide this type of information to our
Resource.
audience, especially those in our community, because we want you to know. A lot of times, people just have no idea what's out in the community. And so that's what this podcast is all about. It is all about making sure that, as you are caring for your loved one, that you have the support, that you have the resources, that you don't give up in the middle of this thing, because it is a difficult undertaking. It's difficult, and it's even more difficult if you're having to do it by yourself. But we have people that are here to support you in the process. And so reach out to them. Again, you can contact them on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, Wisdom Adult Daycare Services. Go on over to TikTok and check out some of their videos as well. And then you can also go to their website to get additional information at www.wisdomadultdaycare.com. And then if you just want to contact them by phone, again, that number is 850-566-4682. So we're going to end this particular episode. Thank you, ladies, again for taking the time to come on and to share with us on tonight. And as we always say to our caregivers, we want to make sure that you always have what you need to keep going, keep pushing, keep loving, and by all means to keep caring. We'll see you again on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.